Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. It is day 102 of the Trump presidency. 1,358 days to go. But who's counting?
Stephen Colbert has been on the air a long time. He first joined The Daily Show back in 1997, and he's done comedy about politics ever since. First as one of Jon Stewart's correspondents, then as the host of The Colbert Report, and now as the host of The Late Show on CBS. But while Stephen has had 23 years of comedy experience, his comedy has really gone downhill over time. Hey guys, my name's Jonathan Alex, and in this video, I'm giving my review of the Stephen Colbert Late Show, or put another way, here's what I think is wrong with a lot of comedians in 2020.
You have more people marching against you than cancer. You talk like a sign language gorilla who got hit in the head. In fact, the only thing your mouth is good for is being Vladimir Putin's holster.
So to give a little bit of context, I started watching Stephen Colbert back in 2013 when he was still the host of The Colbert Report on Comedy Central. The Colbert Report never got as high TV ratings as Jon Stewart's Late Show, but in some ways it was the more creative of the two shows. As people who know The Colbert Report know, Stephen played an over-the-top conservative commentator for 9 years talking about the news through multiple layers of satire. There were definitely a lot of times when I disagreed with the political message of The Colbert Report, but there was no doubt that the show was comedy gold. Stephen was so good at playing his character that both conservatives and liberals were laughing along. Liberals laughed at his satire of conservatives, but conservatives laughed at his satire of liberals making fun of conservatives. When Stephen switched over to The Late Show in 2015, replacing David Letterman, his comedy changed somewhat drastically. Stephen was still talking about the news every night, but the whole premise of The Colbert Report wasn't there anymore. Stephen couldn't make fun of himself in quite the same way, and he had to find a new footing for himself in the much bigger Ed Sullivan Theater.
I'm a very stable genius. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's past my cheeseburger's bedtime. Let's go.
That new footing for Colbert came in the form of Donald Trump's candidacy. From the second that Trump rode down the escalator in Trump Tower, Colbert devoted his show to everything Trump did on the campaign trail. A lot of criticism was directed at the news media in 2016 for how much free publicity they gave Donald Trump, but Colbert was guilty of the exact same thing, just later on in the evening. In a way, it wasn't Stephen Colbert writing the comedy anymore. It was Donald Trump who gave Stephen his script every night.
Nothing he says or does can turn off voters. His campaign slogan might as well be, Trump 2016, you're stupid and ugly.
Now, there's no doubt that Stephen didn't expect Trump to win the election. To prove that, all we have to do is look at his coverage from election night 2016, when Stephen was obviously shocked as the returns came in from lots of battleground states.
No, I'm not sure if it's a comedy show at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're in the middle of a documentary right now.
Stephen looked absolutely exhausted by the end of his live coverage on election night, but there was a sense that something might be about to change on his show.
I think we can agree that this has been an absolutely exhausting, bruising election for everyone.
That's right.
And it has come to an ending that I did not imagine.
Stephen's favorite punching bag had won the election, and I remember hoping at the time that Stephen Colbert would go back to more creative comedy than just talking about the latest Trump tweet. But he didn't. Since Donald Trump was elected, I've continued to watch The Late Show, and there are certain jokes Stephen loves to make over and over and over again.
Yes, Trump's strategy on a lot of things is just to pretend it doesn't exist. The popular vote yesterday, Democrats commemorated this anniversary by kicking Trump's ass using his archenemy, the popular vote. Sir, we agreed on a safe word. It's you lost the popular vote. For Pete's sake, for once in your life, care about the popular vote.
And it's not just them. Everywhere I go, young women complain. It's all, I'm uncomfortable, don't touch me. Just because I'm your wife doesn't mean I have to love you.
To try to humanize these child detention centers, the administration sent their most high-profile detainee, Melania Trump. Ma'am, I know how you can help. Unfortunately, involves speaking to your husband. Police are still investigating, and they have released this security footage of the Slovenian woman they believe is behind the attack.
Look, some of these jokes might be funny the first time or the first 5 times they're said, but recycling the same comedic content day after day isn't clever, it's just lazy. To give another example, Trump obviously tweets a lot, that's a defining characteristic of his presidency. But anytime Stephen reads one of Trump's tweets, he always does it in the exact same way. When Trump tweets something that's split over multiple tweets, Stephen always reads out every dot before and after each tweet.
Dot, dot, dot. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, 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 dot.
Look, Stephen making fun of Trump's Twitter might make for entertaining TV content, but it's impossible to argue that it's groundbreaking comedy. Late night shows have always reacted to the silliest news of the day, but come on, Donald Trump is 73 years old. What person over the age of 70 isn't sometimes cringy on social media? And sure, Donald Trump is the president, and so Stephen might argue that he's amplifying the worst parts of Twitter, except he can't even do that because when it involves criticizing Devin Nunes, he's perfectly okay with Twitter roasts.
That's what Twitter is. That's all it does. Can you tell the sun not to shine?
Stephen's double standard isn't just in the context of Twitter. One of Stephen's biggest objections to the Trump presidency is that it's just not normal, that Trump's behavior and actions are so far removed from previous presidents that he's actually changing people's morals. Here's what Stephen Colbert had to say in response to a question from Anderson Cooper about whether he'd have Trump on his show again.
I think that he is so disrespectful of the office that it's very hard to perceive him as I would want to perceive a president in terms of their status and the dignity and the representation of the United States. So I think just for safety's sake, it wouldn't be a good idea.
Dignity and representation of the United States. Look, those are legitimate criticisms to be making, but not when your entire show is about getting down in the gutter with Donald Trump. Look, comedy is all about attacking those in power, but it's so hypocritical for Stephen to grandstand on CNN and then say stuff like this in his monologues.
If someone is leaving this country, it should be you. And if you're looking for a new home, might I suggest that you go to hell?
You know that Vladimir Putin joke I started this video out with that got a little pushback on social media? That wasn't even the first time Stephen had said that exact line on his show.
We're not broadcasting right now, so I'd say, what does Vladimir Putin's taste like?
Look, from a numbers point of view, it's hard to argue that Stephen's formula is working. Late show monologues get millions of views on YouTube, and The Late Show is one of the most popular things on late night TV. But I'm gonna say again what I started out this video with, which is I seriously think Stephen Colbert could do better. For one, it's possible to be funny without completely throwing away your decency. Take the interview Stephen Colbert did with Trump 4 years ago. The whole time Stephen was making fun of Trump to his face, but he was doing it without calling Trump Vladimir Putin's cock holster.
How about 2 walls, okay? Each of them
connected?
No, not connected. 2 walls, one here, one there, in between, a moat.
Another interview of what I'm saying is Stephen's interview with Ted Cruz. Stephen interviewed Cruz way back in 2015 at the very start of his Late Show career, and while he definitely tried to make Cruz uncomfortable by asking him some tough questions, he still made sure that the conversation was respectful and that his audience listened without booing.
We should trust... Guys, however you feel, he's my guest, so please don't boo him.
Interviews aside, I think that one of my all-time favorite Stephen Colbert moments was actually from the Colbert Report way back in 2014, when Stephen was actually at the center of a lot of social media pushback for a joke tweet his staff had posted without context. For 36 hours, #CancelColbert had been one of the top trends on Twitter, but Stephen responded by going out and giving one of the funniest monologues I've ever seen on late night TV.
To recap, a web editor I've never met posts a tweet in my name on an account I don't control, outrages a hashtag activist, and the news media gets 72 hours of content. The system worked.
Stephen Colbert is a great comedian, and again, while I don't agree with his comedy a fair amount of the time, he still is good at making people laugh. But having seen what he's capable of in the past, it's all the more disappointing to see the kind of repetitive content that's common on The Late Show today. With that said though, give me your thoughts on The Late Show in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of all of this, whether you agree or disagree. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell to get notified about my new videos. And yeah, that's it for today. So with that said, I will see you next time.